trading at its best.
Okay, welcome to the webinar today, everyone. Hope you had a good week trading. Let's just do a sound check, and everybody's already ahead of me on that one. Got a bunch of yeses coming in here now. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what we're going to talk about today. First off, I don't know how many of you are new to these webinars. We've been doing them every week. But just real quick, I'm Mike Swanson, and you've probably seen me in our recent videos with our website, TradeWest Forex, with the Momentics and some of our different things. I've been trading for 9 years now. And we started these weekly webinars a few months ago, and we've had a lot of success with them. We've taught a lot of different things. You can also go to our blog at tradewestforex.com/blog, and you can see all of those different topics. Okay, now just up front here, I want to tell you guys we do record this, so you don't have to worry about if you have to leave early, or if you come late to these webinars in the future. It's not a problem. We do have a recording we save, and we shoot an email out with that. Okay, so you can review it, watch it over again if you miss something. Okay, so let's take a look then at what today's topic is. What is a VPS? Okay, we'll talk about who it's for, how it works, and at the end we are going to get into a demonstration, and we have a freebie. So stick around here. We've got something we're going to offer to you guys so you can try all of this out. Okay, so let's first just take a look at. Let me go ahead and talk about how it works. Okay, so a VPS. First off, it's an acronym that stands for Virtual Private Server. And now I know that might sound technical, but basically what we have is, an easy way to understand this is it's an extension of your own computer. So instead of having all of your trading programs running on your computer, which you could have all kinds of problems, power failure, your hard drive crashes, or you get a virus, and or your internet connection goes down. There's plenty of different things that can go wrong on your own computer. So by having this VPS, or this extension of your computer, like we say, you put all of that stuff in another place. We have a secure facility set up. That's how these VPSs work. There's a secure facility that has backup of all that stuff. Diesel generators. Okay, let me go ahead and I'm going to bring up a web page instead of just staring at this slide, and you guys can see here. Give me 1 second. Okay, so let me give you an idea what it looks like. This will do it more justice than just talking about it here. Okay, so here's what a facility looks like that has VPS servers. So you can see it doesn't look like your typical computer. There's these racks, or these giant containers, full of servers and computers that run in these. And there's this massive backup system, generators, hardware, multiple hard drives and backup for all your hardware, multiple internet connections coming into it. I mean, obviously a home computer can't compete with this. Now, the reason that's all important is I'm going to give you a quick little story of how, what kind of led me to use a VPS. Now, for me, I was trading a robot, and that you don't have to be trading a robot, and I'll explain why here in a bit. But for me, I was trading some robots. I had built my own systems. I had others that I was trying, and I had everything running on my own computer. I had, some of the best computer equipment. Everything stayed running at my home office. Then one day, I woke up, came down to my office, and found that my computer was off. And that got me really worried, because with a robot, you can't have that. Your computer needs to stay running, or you can get stuck in trades and lose a lot of money. So I was frantically, trying to get my computer back up. By the time I got it back up and loaded the trading platforms back up, I was stuck in trades that should have been closed out with a profit, and instead I was in a massive loss because they were using stealth mode. So that's what first led me into VPS, and we built our own services that we'll talk about. This is what you're seeing here, Impress VPS. But this way, everything is taken off your computer. Now, the reason it's not only for robots is because there's other benefits here. Okay, there's the other benefits of having a VPS is they have a much faster internet connection. They don't have all those bottlenecks. And I'm not going to get into the technicals of how all that works, but what it results in is a lower latency, a faster connection to your broker. And what that means, you'll have faster price feed coming in, the quotes you'll see faster. Let me give you an idea here. Is if you have a really poor connection, or a computer that's not very powerful, or poor internet connection, you might see the euro sitting at $1.30 when it's really at $1.30 and 2 pips, and you might have this little bit of a delay. So you're hitting a buy button before you're even seeing the actual price. Hopefully that makes sense. Is you're not seeing the real price that the broker has to offer. And what does that mean? It means you're getting requotes or you're getting slippage, right? So that's the nice thing about VPS is you've got that ultra-fast connection, low latency. These are set up closer to brokerage servers on top of all that, which means you're going to have much faster trade execution. So that's why I say it's not only for robots where you need something running 24/7, but it's also nice to manually trade on. That's how I do all of my trading. Is I've got 15 platforms running on one of our VPSs. And I've got manual systems there. I've got automated robots. I've got just PDFs of training things, knowledge, videos. I just put everything on there. And that way, I don't have to have my computer running 24/7. So, I can turn it off, come in, and check on it. Okay? So, if you guys have any questions on this stuff, and at any point, go ahead and use the chat box. Let's see. Okay. So anyways, I'll give you guys this link here in a minute. You can check some of this out yourself. But that's how a VPS works. Okay, so that covers that part. I've covered who it's for. Like I say, pretty much any trader can benefit from a VPS. And okay, so now the next thing was demonstration. This I think is going to really help answer a lot of questions about what exactly it is, how it works, because I know it does sound very technical and confusing at first. When you think of servers and virtual programs and things, a lot of you, I'm sure, don't really quite follow. Okay, so I'm going to do a demonstration of how that all works. We have a question from George. He says, can you have a VPS on both a laptop and a desktop at the same time? Okay, so what you're talking about is being able to connect to a single VPS from more than one place simultaneously, right? You want to be able to have your VPS up on your laptop and on your desktop. Okay, so the way that is done is through, it's called VNC, which you don't have to worry about that. You'll see it if you log into your, the VPS members area. That allows you to connect from more than one place. If you're using the standard RDP or remote desktop, then you can only have one connection at a time. So first, I'll go ahead and demonstrate that for you guys. Just the regular RDP. It's just a single click, and you'll log right into the VPS. So let's go ahead and bring that up here. Okay, so the other thing is through your browser. It actually, the VNC, where you can connect in laptop and more than one place at a time, that's done through any browser. Okay, so I can see if I can show you guys that here a little bit later. But let's first just go ahead and use the RDP. Okay, so give me 1 second here. So what I'm going to show you here is once you download this VPS file, and pretty much all VPS services work this way. You can either go through a web browser, or you can go through RDP. So like I say, first here I'll show you RDP. This is a simple file, but once you have a VPS, you're given this file. You download it just like anything else, and then you can you double-click on it, and it logs you into your VPS. Now, let's just go ahead and do this for you guys. Okay, you'll see over here it says it's connecting, configuring my connection, and I've already put in my password and saved it, so it logged me right in. Single click. One click, and I'm now onto what looks like a completely different computer. Can everybody see this? I actually have my own start button down here on this computer, my own desktop with a couple icons, just a clean computer. Even though right now, yes, I'm on my normal computer, but up here you'll see this little tab. This is what tells me that I'm actually connected to the VPS, and I'll show you here. See, it's a separate window. Just looks like an application. So this is a whole other computer. Does that make sense? If anybody's lost on any of this stuff, let me know. Okay, so this I can put on another monitor, and that's what I do. I actually put this on another monitor, and then it looks like I have a completely separate computer, with a monitor and everything. Okay, so if I go ahead and double-click that, now it's full screen. So now this just, like I say, looks like a regular computer, but then it's got all those benefits that we've talked about. I have a much faster connection. I have a more reliable computer, where I'm not going to be worrying about hardware failure. It's going to be a lot less chance of getting viruses and things because I'm not using an internet browser or checking my email on it, which you guys can, but I recommend not doing that. Just stick with your trading software only, and as long as you're using safe trading software, you're not going to have any problems with viruses and things. Okay, so now that we're on here, let me just show you what you can do here. Not only can you copy and paste things from your computer, but you can go to a web page, which I'll just go to our members area here, and I can actually download software right onto this VPS. Okay, so let me log in here. Okay, so here we go. I just logged into the members area on the VPS, and now I can go to downloads and say I want to install TradeHero. I can download that file. Okay, and I'll hit run on that. Okay, we'll go ahead and finish this installer. Just doing this so you guys can see that this is just like a normal computer. There's nothing different. You can install software the same way. You can drag software off of your computer, your trading tools, whatever you would like, right onto this VPS or this other computer. So yeah, Charles says RDP works fine on any computer as long as you don't use multiple logins. So that's right. Now, in a minute here, I'm going to show you how you can be logged in more than one place by using the web browser version. And I'll show you how that works here in a minute. Okay, I'll go ahead and sign in to install this. Okay, so I'll let it configure charts for me, hit install, and open the platform. Okay, so now you can see I've got a platform up here running with some software. Now, it doesn't have to be our software. I just wanted to demonstrate this. This could be Got a bunch of noise going off there. But this could be any of your software, other robots, other manual trading systems, whatever you'd like. Okay, now what I want to show you guys here is once I'm done setting this all up, I don't have to keep my computer running, okay? I can leave this platform up, and as long as I just use the X here to close this remote connection to my VPS, everything will stay running. Okay, so I'll disconnect, and now everything's still running. I can turn off my computer, and when I come back the next day or whenever I go back to connect to it, or if I jump on my laptop while I'm on vacation, wherever I'm at, I can access my VPS either through a web browser or through any RDP connection, which you can download from the members area. So I'll connect right back in so you guys can see that everything's going to still be running. And there it is. The platform's still going. Okay, so now that I've showed you how it works on the RDP, let me show you how the browser version works. Okay, I guess I could have stayed connected on there, which I guess I can go back and do that. But here's what Charles says he does. He has a VPS, and he says when I travel, I use a flash drive with the RDP on it and plug it into any computer anywhere. So that's a really good idea. Then you don't have to go to a web browser or anything. You just plug in your USB, flash drive. You can be on a friend's computer. You can be on anywhere you go and connect to your VPS. On top of that, I actually have an RDP client on my phone, on my smartphone, and I can connect to my home computer, my VPS, and everything through RDP that way. Just makes it nice that you don't have to wait till you get to your normal computer to check on things. You can you can have a VPS that you can connect to from anywhere. Okay, so let me bring up the web browser version for you guys now so you can see how that works. Okay. Looks like I've got some updates here that it wants me to do. So give me 1 minute here. Okay, we'll just activate that. Okay, so I'll go ahead and there we go. So what you do on a web browser is we give you a special web page, basically. It is what it looks like, a web address. And you can just bookmark that or save that somewhere. And then all you have to do is enter your VPS password here. So you go to any web browser on a computer, put in that address, which you can get from the members area or if you save it somewhere, and then you'll just put in your password. So I'll go ahead and do that here. Okay, and now the same thing. We've got access into where our trading platform is running. We'll give it a second to come up here. But it's just in a web browser now instead of in that separate connection. Let's see. A couple more comments coming in here. Okay, I just noticed. Okay, let me give me 1 more second. Let me bring this back up over here so you guys can see. There we go. Okay, so it looks a little bit different, but there's some different options here. You can just see my colors. My color settings are a little different, but you can actually set all of those options. Okay, let's see. If you guys have any other questions on this stuff as I'm going along, let me know. I'm just pretty much just giving you a basic demonstration of how this VPS stuff all works rather than trying to just explain it. I think the demonstration really helps a lot. Okay, so let me show you how some of these options work. If you go up here to options, there's actually restricted colors. That's where I can change it to full. And the reason we have that restricted colors by default is it makes the connection a little bit faster. But if you wherever you're connecting from, if you've got a fast connection, then it's no problem running the full colors. Okay. So yeah, you can see how the colors change there now. So as you can see, it's really easy to use, even though it sounds really technical, which it is a pretty sophisticated setup. I mean, if we go back and look at, if we go back to the web page there and you look at these setups, you can see it's very, very technical, setup on their end, at these server facilities. But it's very easy to connect to and use. It's just like a normal computer. We've got Windows installed and very easy to use. Okay, so to kind of recap on things here is this is a lot shorter webinar than some of our past ones here, but if you guys want to try this out, let me just show you where you can get. Let me do this first. Let me just get you guys this link. We actually have a way where, for coming into the webinar, we usually only do this for those that join one of our programs. But you guys can, we'll give you guys the link here. We really haven't pushed this publicly yet, but I'll give you guys the link. You can get a free month just to try this out. There's no commitment after that. You can cancel it, but I recommend everybody try it out. Put your software on there and see if you notice a difference. With faster trading execution, just much more reliable, putting all that stuff on there, turning off your computers. So you can give it a try. Let me go ahead and get this link to you guys. Okay, I'm just going to post the link directly to where you'll see the free month offer. Okay, so there is the link in the chat. Okay, and that will take you to this page. We've got basic. You won't get a free month on that one, but our standard and premier is where you can get a free month. And you can see our prices here. Let me just go ahead and talk about one thing that's really important. Is I've actually seen some brokers out there, trading Forex brokers, that are giving free VPS if you open a trading account with them. So I went ahead and checked some of these out, and I can tell you that, not all of them are this way. I obviously didn't go through and check everybody out, but the ones I looked at were not very reliable. They were putting, tons and tons of customers on a single server, which makes it unreliable. And, it's a free VPS, so what do you expect, right? And another thing is, I've also seen some cheaper services out there. I've seen services for $15, $20 a month, and those are doing the same thing. They're overloading their servers, and they're running into all kinds of problems. And I'll admit, we did the same thing in the beginning. A couple of years ago, when we first started launching this, we tried the same thing. We put a lot more people than we should have on the server, and we quickly ran into problems. And we spent a long time, solving those problems and getting everything where it's at today, where it's been very reliable. So I would be careful with those other services. I've seen others, programs or VPS services that are even more than $47 a month, or where we're at, or $27 a month. I've seen them up as high as $90 a month. So there's a bunch of different options out there, but I suggest you give ours a try, give it the free month, and I think you guys will like it. So let's go ahead and any other questions you guys have, I'll let you shoot them through. and we'll take some questions, like I say, and we'll wrap this webinar up. Kind of a shorter webinar, but as you can see, it's not as complicated as it would probably seem. Okay, so we actually, right now, we are working with a company that now they just barely branched out to Europe, in Amsterdam. So currently, the facility's been in Chicago, but they have options in Amsterdam. So if you are looking to, have a VPS in that location, that's an option now that we're going to have available soon. Another thing too, let me go back to the home page here. Here it gives you an idea of kind of the specs on the basic, standard, and premier, and why they're different price levels. It just comes down to how much RAM, how much CPU power you have, disk space, and things like that. So you can see here, the standard with a gig of RAM is pretty much works for most traders. For if you've got several platforms you plan on running, the standard, is where about 90% of our VPS customers are using. But if you find you need more resources, we can always upgrade. So we can upgrade it up to 2 gigs, and if you need a customized plan beyond that, let us know and we can see what we can work out. Okay, so I hope this didn't come off as just a pitch to join our VPS, because I really was, really wanted to just get you guys to see how it works, and I think we've done a decent job demonstrating it and explaining, why it's important, because that's really all the VPS comes down to. It's all about having reliability, being able to know that your trading tools are running. That your computer didn't have some problem when you're sleeping, or like I was telling you about my story earlier, or when you're on vacation, if you want to check on things, you don't have to wait till you get back and hope that everything's still going. I got another story actually on that one. My family and I were on a vacation in California, and for some reason I couldn't remotely connect to my home computer. See, I set up a remote connection to my home PC so I could check on things, thinking, I don't need a VPS, I can just do that. Well, I tried to connect while we were on vacation and it wasn't going through. And I was like, oh no. So I had to get a hold of family and see if they could go over to my house and see what was going on. And sure enough, my computer was overheating. It was having trouble and it was overheating. So I found a way they could fix that temporarily. I got connected. And then the next day, I couldn't connect again. Now the computer shut off. I had some hardware issues, so it just wasn't worth it to try to run, robots and trading tools on my home computer. I had to get a VPS figured out. So I started off actually building my own VPS server, and same things were happening with that. I don't have a state-of-the-art facility like these guys we work with now. This company's got a multi-million-dollar facility with just, nobody, none of us can go out and do something like this. So I found a reliable company, got this service set up, and like I say, we went through some struggles in the beginning, like you would expect, but it's been very solid. For about a year or two now, we've been running pretty solid. Oh, I just noticed I made this mistake yesterday in our feedback webinar, is my chat box is not scrolled down. Let me see if I can catch up to you guys. I'm sure it looks like you guys have a lot of questions coming through and I haven't been able to answer them because I'm not seeing them. So, okay, so let's see. I run my own backup program for web storage. Please describe your options. So Charles, on that, okay, so you're backing up. You have your trading tools running somewhere, but then you're using a server like this to back things up to, in case your hard drive fails you or your computer crashes, right? So ours is it's not really totally intended just for that. I mean, you can use it for backing up, backing up your tools on it, but and that's fine. But I mean, it's more for running all of your tools there as well. So I showed you some of the options on the order page, or even on the home page. You can go back to there on those tabs and see the different disk space and options. So like you can see, we don't have a ton of disk space because it's not really designed to go back up a bunch of software. But this is so far this has been enough, for the average person to run software on. But we can definitely add space. I mean, we have tons of flexibility in our services. Just if you have something specific you're looking for, let me know. Okay, Charles is saying he backs up his VPS to a web backup. I see. Yeah, and there's some things we can do that I'm sure we'll look into in the future is adding, it's called RAID, which is basically just multiple hard drives for redundancy, for reliability. So that way you don't even have to move it to another web backup. You just know that we've got built-in redundancy on that. I have to check on our server setups. I know there's some redundancy. I just don't know how deep it goes. Okay. So yeah, let me catch up on these other questions. Let me scroll back up here. Yeah, no problem, Rob. We can shoot out an email with the recording. We usually don't do that till about Monday on the recording. Takes some time to render that and get it up. Edgar says, I left 3 positive comments on your simple trading strategy, but every time I get your comment is waiting for moderation. I've noticed that too. I've seen a lot of just 0 comments on our posts. And I don't know, it just seems strange, like you say. So I'm going to have to look into that, because I'm sure there's been a lot of other comments, especially if you say you left 3, there's probably several others that have left comments that we need to see what's going on there. So we'll take a look at that after this webinar. What's the biggest advantage of the VPS? I mean, there's some pretty big ones across, but I mean, I guess the #1 advantage really is it's just that reliability and faster execution, faster, receiving quotes faster. I mean, it's hard to really point out any one single advantage. But I mean, if you look at it, it's just all that combined. It comes down to system reliability and the ability to just turn off your home computer and let all that stuff stay running and on that reliable setup. If you look at something like this, obviously this is much more reliable than your little home computer or office computer setup. I think I've read they had like 200 gallons of diesel fuel. They have another image, I'd have to find it, but they've got these massive, 2 diesel massive generators. So if they have a power failure, I think they said it can run for 3 months or something like that. So you don't have to worry about any power failures. And depending where you're at in the world, there's all kinds of, things that can cause internet, failures and power failures. So like I was showing you, Vladimir's asking, can you log into a VPS simultaneously from 2 or more computers? Yes, you can do that. And the way that's done is through this browser tab here. So see, if I were to go on my laptop right now, I can use this little web address, and I can connect on my laptop at the same time. Okay, let me just show you guys what's happening. I'm actually connected on through the RDP right now at the same time. Let me show you that. Okay, so see how it's the same? I'm connected from 2 places here. If you look, let's see if I can click inside here. It's probably not going to be able to show at the same time to you guys, but basically I'm connected in on both sides. I'm connected here, and then if I go over here, you'll see I'm on the, actually you can see it now. Let's drag it here. Oops. Let me see if I can put these side by side so you guys can see what's happening. Okay. Okay, so you can see here, now I've got them side by side. This is the RDP and this is the web browser. So this would be a simulation if these could be on different computers. So as you can see here, if I'm over here moving it, it's moving. See on the left, it's moving. So you can control it from more than one place. Hopefully that didn't confuse you guys, but I'm connected in more than one. I mean, I'm connected in two places right now, on the web browser and on the desktop. And that could be on more than one computer as well. Sure, you can use this for futures. You can trade. You can do whatever you want on this. You have to, the way you have to look at this is it's like your own computer. You have full control over it. You can do anything that you can do on your own computer. You can do on here. I can go to any web browser. I can install another web browser if I want, but I can go to any web page. I can go to Google. I can download any trading platform I want. Okay, you aren't restricted here. You can do anything that you can do on your own computer. So futures trading, you can log into your broker and trade. You can download the broker software. You can install those tools. You can stock trade options. You can put anything you want on here. Obviously we do have some terms of service that we don't want people using this as a file sharing, that type of stuff. I mean, that's obvious, but can you use RDP for two simultaneous logins? RDP does not allow that. RDP is designed that you can only be connected through one RDP client at a time. So that's why we have the web edition, or the web option as well, so that you can be connected in more than one place. Charles, I don't know. You're saying you're having some issues with Trade Hero Pro alerts to restart. It's telling you to restart. You should, if you have version 1.11, it should, it should be, everything should be good. I just installed it right here, as you can see on this VPS that we've been testing on, and it seems to be working there. If you can't get that, if something's still wrong though, Charles, just shoot us an email and we can look into it for you. Oh, you have 1.06. Okay. Yeah, you got a pretty old version there still. That would make sense. Yeah, we've made quite a few improvements to the the news filter and reliability of it since then, so you should probably get that updated. So Kenny, you're saying you're connected with RDP on more than one VPS at the same time using an RDP file for each VPS. So yeah, you guys can connect to two different VPSs at the same time. That's not a problem with RDP. It's when you try to connect to the same one from two different computers, then it's going to kick the other person off, or the other computer off. But the web browser does not do that. You can be connected in more than one place through the web browser. Does trade management software like FX Synergy work with this? Yes, I mean, if you can install FX Synergy on your desktop, if you've installed it on your computer right now, or if you've went to a browser and you're using it there, it can be done on the VPS. There's not a restriction like that. You can go and, I can go to FX Synergy if I had it right now, and I could download it and use it. You can see here, I've got a start button here. I've got the taskbar. I've got a desktop. It's all exactly the same, pretty much, as your desktop, as your normal computer. Got the recycling bin here. Like I say, the one thing that makes this much more reliable is you're not cluttering it with all that other stuff that Windows puts on your computer, or when you're browsing the internet and doing things, it clogs it up. That's why this is so much faster and reliable also, as well. So that's why I suggest when you do use the browser or when you put software on here, make sure you know and trust who it is. So that way you don't worry about cluttering up your VPS. The good thing is, if you get to a point where the VPS is having issues, or if you've cluttered it up too much, we can reset it. We can restore it, And if also another thing we can do, let's say you do get your setup, everything working the way you want from day one. You can tell us, create a backup for me, and we can save an image that basically saves all of your software and everything the way it is. And then, if one day things go wrong, we can reset it back to that original condition for you. See, that's something you can't do with your home computer. And some of you might have experienced this, and I have, is you get that blue screen one day and everything's wiped out, and you got to start over. And it takes, you either got to take your computer in and pay a bunch of money to have somebody do it, or if you do it yourself, it takes hours and hours. Okay, where this is something, if that were to happen, we can hit a button and reset it back. And it's very fast. You don't have to wait and pay for somebody to do that. So Charles says what he does is he restarts the VPS every week, probably on the weekend, to clear cache. So yeah, you can definitely do that, and that can help as well. This is just like your computer. You can restart it. There's a restart button right there. You just don't want to do shutdown. I think it may restart itself. I can't remember how that's set up now, but if you hit restart, it'll bump you off, and then you wait a few minutes, and you can log back in. So yeah, the VPS has separate Windows updates from your normal computer. So yeah, it has its own Windows update. So by default, it's turned on to, let's just check here. I think it's turned on to download them, but not install them. It makes it so you can choose that, because otherwise, it would shut down your computer, your VPS, in the middle of trading. We don't want that. So if I look at the settings here, yeah, it says it'll download the updates, but you get to choose whether to install them or not, and when. So it'll just pop up like your computer in the bottom corner. It'll say, hey, you've got updates that you need to do, and you can do them on the weekend or whenever you want. The other nice thing with our VPS service too that some don't have is sound transmits through. So you can set alerts on the VPS, and those will come through your computer speakers. Charles, I haven't checked into that. Parallels PP to access for maintenance. I'm sure if you've used another VPS service or that does that, is something ours should be able to do, or we can set it up so you can do that. Another thing is if any of you have a VPS already and you just don't want to have to move all of your stuff over, but you want to try out our service, or maybe ours is we've got a more reliable service or a better price or whatever it is, we can move software over for you. So we have a way we can do that pretty quickly, so you don't have to mess with it. So if you already have a service and you want to try ours out for a month, you can keep your existing VPS running. We'll just copy everything over so you can run ours as well and try it out. That way you don't have to commit to anything, you can try it out and compare them first. Any other questions, guys? We've had a lot of good questions coming through here so far. Yep, that's one way of doing it, Charles, is Dropbox. And that's a nice way of sharing files between the VPS and your desktop. That's something we used to install by default on the VPS. I don't think we're doing that anymore. But you can install Dropbox on the VPS, or we can show you how to do that if you'd like. Also, Charles, just a little note for you here is that you might want to go try downloading the Informer again. I can get you the link if you need. We've got through some of those initial issues. Well, I think we've covered everything as far as the VPS stuff goes. We've answered quite a few questions. I've given you guys that link. You can just go to impressvps.com, and that's where you guys will find the free month that you can try out. Let me bring that up here. Okay, so if you just go to impressvps.com, that'll take you to this home page. And you see the different options, and then if you hit any one of these Buy Now buttons, I pretty much suggest most of you just try out the $47 standard plan free month. But there you go. That's how you find it. That's how you get set up. And if you have any questions, you can also go here and use the little chat here. Shoot us a message. And once you're signed up, this is where you go to sign in. And that's where you'll get your RDP file. That's where you'll get that link to your web browser access, and only takes a few clicks, and you'll have everything set up. So I hope you guys got a better understanding of what a VPS is, whether it's for you or not, and how it all works. So we're going to close things up now. You guys can review the blog post if you'd like. There's a little summary of kind of what we talked about today there. And we'll get that replay out as soon as it's rendered and up and ready. So thanks everybody for coming to the webinar. Hope to see you in next week's session, and hope you have a great weekend.